Hi everyone, I'm Deborah Exum. In today's video we're going to have some fun making a 3D pop-up weekly spread. I wanted something fun and dramatic this week and I think that we've accomplished it. There's a lot of detailed how-to so you can make one of your own, so feel free to follow along and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks so much! Let's talk a little bit about supplies. I had these old file folders that I decided to use for this project, but cardstock would work just as well. You could attach your pop-up directly in your journal, but I decided to make mine as a separate project and then attach it when I was finished. Be sure to cut your cardstock or folder just a little bit smaller than the size of your journal, and one of the keys is to make sure you have a very good crease in that center. You want to fold it forwards and backwards a couple of times just to make sure it's as flexible as it can be. Our second step is to cut out the piece that'll be our pop-up. I'm using a file folder again, but you could use your cardstock. Just be sure to fold it in half. I wanted mine to be fairly large, so I went with 5 inches by 6 inches and then mark those lines. Those will be our cutting lines for our pop-up. Note that your fold, whether you're using cardstock or a file folder, is there on the right side. Let's get rid of our excess folder, and now we have a little mini card here, and let's pull back out our base and I'll show you how this will look when we're finished. What we want to do is set the pop-up like that, but before we can do that we need to make a way to attach it to the base, and that's what we'll do next. The way we do that is we're going to mark a section on the bottom of the pop-up portion of the card. I used 1.5, which is probably a little bit wide, but it works for this. So you're going to mark a line 1.5 inches from the bottom, and then what we're going to do is fold the card. We're going to, just like we did when we were making our center creases, we're going to make sure we crease this really well. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut some tabs on the corners. We're going to go at about a 45-degree angle and cut close to the crease, but not quite all the way up to it. And now I'll show you how that's going to sit on the card. We're going to open it up and flip our tabs back, and they're going to stick to the base. You can choose whatever angle you want. You can have a very light angle or a very steep one, depending on how much of the base you want to have available to draw on. I'm going to go for a very full angle there so I can have lots of base. And let me show you on the tabs, you don't want them to go over the edge at all. You want them to be well inside the card, both on the side and the top edges. The other important thing in setup is to make sure that your centers are lined up from the pop-up part of the card to the base of the card. That'll make it open and close easily. And now let's get to the fun part of decorating the pop-up. So one thing I like to do is clip words and letters out of magazines when I have old ones. And so I found this, Relax Responsibly, and I thought that was perfect for this week's planner. So I'm going to attach that right there on mine. And you could draw anything you want to on these. You know, I wanted something dramatic, so I went for the black and white look, although in this case it's kind of a manila look. But I wanted to show you, you don't have to have a lot of drawing skills to be successful with creating an exciting pop-up. So I wanted to use one of my scraps from my folders and just kind of go over how I drew each of these flowers. So the small ones here are just little 5-petal. You know, I think about this when I was in grade school. This is how I would draw flowers. So it's just a quick and simple, and of course my pen's not going to work. Quick and simple 5-petal flower. Just make loops. They don't have to be uniform. This is bigger than those just so for illustration purpose, but it's super simple. Just 5 quick petals. Don't even spend a lot of time thinking about it. And then you can make a nice dark center. And what I like to do is add some little accent lines so you can see that the petals are dimensional. And typically one thing I'll show you, is go for a finer pen on drawing those petal lines because that one's pretty thick. So this is a Pigma 03 and that's a little bit of a finer line. You could go with a 1 or whatever. And so that gives that flower a lot of dimension. Now if I hadn't been coloring the background black, I would have probably come in and pretended the sun was shining from this direction and tried to put some little extra shadows under here to make it look more dimensional. But you don't really need to do that since we're doing just the black and white. So that's the little smaller flowers. Now these bigger ones right here are just a circle for a center. And these very plain, no movement to those, a pointed petal. And so I started out, I did 4. And then I went in and added, and you see I didn't even care if they were the same length or not. Added some more. And then I went in and added between those, and I could keep going for as long as I wanted to go to make this as big a flower as I wanted to go. And there you go. So I could keep going with that if I wanted to. Now I did a dotted center, so you could have colored that in solid, but for the ones on this, I just made a nice little polka dot center. And for these petals, you can see I went in afterwards and I did these and I colored them in. So we're going to make this really a funny flower because we're going to try some different things just so you can see how, you know, it doesn't take much to make different kinds of petals. So I could have done taken a fine pen and done nice vertical lines for those petals. I could have done, still come in with this, a secondary line, but instead of doing solid, I could have made it angled stripes. And I could do the opposite of that too. I could come in like this and let my stripes be around the outside. These are very illustrative flowers. They're not really intended to represent real flowers. What else could we do? We could come in with our double line, our secondary petal there. We could polka dot it too. If I was going to polka dot this, I might do something different here, like maybe concentric circles or something. So really, you know, your flower is anything you want it to be. You can, you could add, you could do more than one line. You could do it like this. Just let it come in like that. That's really pretty. You could, I don't know, you could kind of sketchy it out like this. It's really limitless what you can do. So you can make these flowers look different just by the way you do the petals on them. All right, so our third flower is this one. Let's get out of the way. And the way we're going to do it is, we'll come in here. It is, I don't know why my centers always turn out looking like bunny ears or something, but you just draw a center, something like that. And then each petal is going to have an up, a down, an up, and an in. And then you connect on the side somewhere on the next one. So up, down, up, connect. Up, down, just a little wavy line. Up, down, up, connect. And as you get further away, the petals tend to get a little bigger, so you kind of can do this. You try to make them not hit in the exact same spot. So up, down, up, connect. Up, down, up, connect. Up, down, up, connect. And then just keep going until you have a flower the size you want. The only thing I ever struggle with is I think, oh, I need one more petal. Oh wait, I need one more petal. And I keep going like that. But there you go. That's how you get that flower. Super easy. And then you can add some dimension to it. You could put something in the center. You could do your dots in the center. I didn't do anything in the centers of those. And then you're just trying to give the petals a little bit of dimension by adding some lines. And again, if I was not doing the entire background, even if I was within the flower, I could add me some little, you know, thicken certain lines to make it look like shadows from one petal to the next, that kind of thing. So that's really up to you if you want it to have more dimension or look more, you know, basic. But I would just go around and add lines, and I'm not really even paying that much attention. Sometimes on the edges I'll make them a little more curved, since that's probably coming in like that, but I really just put them in there at random. So there you go, 3 fun flowers. You can see on my layout I tried not to make them too symmetrical in their layout, so I kind of got and let them laid out in different places. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how to make the flowers, so you could make a similar one if you like to, or you can draw anything you want in your pop-up. Okay, now we've got our bottom finished and our pop-up, and it's time to assemble. So what you're going to do is put your pop-up piece exactly where you want it and hold one side down and lay it down. And before we stick this down, I want to make sure this is going to close. I think that I need to scoot over just a little. Your goal is to line up your centerpieces here. So now I'm going to keep everything in place. I'm going to flip this up and put some double sticky tape on it. Stick it down. Okay, I think I've got it where I want it. Let's see. That's a little low, so I'm going to unstick it if I can without tearing it. I'm going to try that again. At least it's on there. So I want to line up with my line there. Lay it down if I need to scoot any. I think I'm good this time. Yeah, I should be able to close. So now I'm going to stick it down the second time. I got it good this time. It's in its right place. And now, let's see. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to close this. And I want to put tape here because we're just going to close this on the top of it like this and stick it down that way. And that should put us right where we want to be. So I'm going to do this. Actually do a double layer so it's getting stuck. I'm going to close the card, stick that down really well. One of the things, you see how this corner is sticking out? If this was all I had, I would worry about that, but since I'm going to put this in a journal that's got a bigger page, it will be just fine. So let's see what happens. Now we're going to open it and we pop right up. It's really kind of, it's probably hard to see up there. Let me tip my whole thing up. You can see the result. That looks awesome, doesn't it? So I do see right here where I'm going to need to do a little more black filler, and I'm probably going to tape my backs down just a little bit better. But now I have this really exciting spread to write in for the week with this dramatic pop-up. I love it. I'm going to put it in my journal in just a little bit, but that's how you assemble it. Let's try it again. Close it. Open it. Pop right up. It does. Tip it back so you guys can see. There it is. I'll have to get some better angles of it in just a minute. How exciting. It's such a nice day. I wanted to come outside and show you this. So here's my journal. Let's open it up to this new spread. Look at that, a pop-up weekly spread. Is that not the coolest thing ever? And we have great background out here out in my yard. So there you go. Relax responsibly, stay safe, love your weekly spread.